cool off with a large fountain drink for just 99 cents. That's a huge sweet tea for less than $1 at Parker's Kitchen.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
First tonight, new plans and policies to keep you safe. We hear from both candidates in the runoff for Richmond County Sheriff. We are 20 days away from that runoff election. Advanced voting begins in 12 days.
Today, Eugene Brantley laid out his 100-day plan if he's elected. And we spoke with current Sheriff Richard Roundtree about his plans. Our Sydney Hood spoke with both candidates today. And Sydney, what did they have to say?
Well, both candidates have very different visions for your future. Sheriff Roundtree says he already has mechanisms in place he is going to continue with moving forward. And then Brantley says in order to make progress, there needs to be change in the community. The vote that impacts everyone who lives, works, and visits Richmond County is weeks away. Two candidates pushing for your vote, starting with the incumbent, Richard Roundtree.
We're going to take up where we left off, moving forward with technology. We finally got funding now for the downtown camera project, so that'll be in place in the next 60 days.
Sheriff Roundtree says after they'll move forward with a real-time crime center to monitor these cameras in real time. He says there are more than 170 crime cameras across Richmond County. Roundtree's challenger, Eugene Brantley, says he wants to bring back community policing.
Interactions, you have one-on-one conversations with the youth, and that's what it takes to decrease the gun violence and the gang violence. You have to be in these neighborhoods because most gangs start from a particular area or particular neighborhoods.
Brantley says some of the issues he wants to change include jail repairs.
If it means me putting a uniform on, working in the jail beside the deputies, if that's what it takes to ensure the safety of the people in the jail and the deputies there, then that's what we're prepared to do.
Locks are working now. Our staffing levels have improved. We've ordered hired some program coordinators. So all the issues that we have, again, we went to the commission. They were able to provide us funding, and those issues have been resolved. So we think we're in good shape there.
Both candidates say the safety of the community is one of their top priorities.
So we got to get back to making our city safe, and that's part of the safety of our citizens here as they commute to and from work, to and from school, or to and from the grocery store, wherever they're commuting to make sure that they're safe.
Any violent situation in the community has to be addressed at the community level. You just can't rely on law enforcement. We can't lock our way up out of that kind of problem. This is a community issue. It's not a law enforcement issue. Our crime numbers are down in every category except gun violence, but that's, again, national trend.
There isn't a Republican on the ticket, so whoever wins this race will face independent Richard Dixon in November, assuming he gets enough signatures to be on the ballot.
Sydney Hood, live for us there in the newsroom. By the way, that runoff comes up June the 18th.
And today, former candidate Bo Johnson endorsed Brantley. He says the pair sat down and hashed out issues that impact Greater Augusta.
I have decided to put my support behind Gino. My people have decided to put their support behind Gino as well. As of right now, we really have no one to keep irresponsible drivers in check, and this is important. We have no one to monitor our neighborhoods where we have people driving through our neighborhoods being irresponsible. Last year, people may not realize, but we had 40 vehicle fatalities last year, many of them involving pedestrians.
You can cast your ballot in this race right now. Voting by mail begins today. You can request your absentee ballot now through June 7th. Advanced voting begins June 10th and goes through the 14th. And on Election Day, the 18th, polls will be open from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. You can check out our website, wrdw.com, for more information on how to request a ballot and check your voter registration.
We have much more news ahead, but right now let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Mikkel Hannah Harding. How's it going, Mikkel?
Well, hey guys, coming up.
Thanks for that, Mikkel. Advanced nuclear technology is now fully operational in our own backyard. Plant Vogel's Units 3 and 4 in Waynesboro are online and powering hospitals, homes, schools, and more across Georgia.
It is a big event. Nick Veland gives us an up-close look at the state's largest investment into carbon-free energy.
Plant Vogel's expansion project is now complete with Over My Shoulders Units 3 and 4. With the 4 units that they have, it makes this the largest, cleanest source of energy in the United States. And we got a first-hand look at how this all works. Let us know if you're not here. Leaders say it's clean energy because the plant doesn't produce carbon. When energy is produced through splitting atoms. We're splitting those atoms, producing a tremendous amount of heat, which means cooling units work around the clock. Energy produced and sent throughout. So with the new Vogel units, we did add 55 miles of high voltage transmission line in the line that you see behind us, dispatching energy throughout the state of
also good for business for the state of Georgia when you think about reliable, consistent, affordable, clean energy. And that is what our customers are demanding. That's what people want.
And also, Governor Kemp says nuclear energy could start trending nationwide.
See other policymakers and other utility companies that are going to look more to nuclear in the future, and they should. I mean, it's a great opportunity to do that. We have to take a lot of hard licks getting this done, but we learned a lot.
From the control room, they're operating, they're opening valves, they're starting and stopping equipment with the click of a mouse. To the cooling units. This now looks to produce enough emission-free electricity to power an estimated 1 million homes and businesses. And units 3 and 4 are expected to last 80 years. So they're going to be running up until 2100, making leaders say that it was worth the investment. At Plant Vogel, Nick Veland on your side.
And thanks, Nick, for that update. Leaders say it's worth the investment, but don't forget these new units come at a cost to you. The project is still receiving criticism from ratepayers. The project is 7 years late and $17 billion over budget. Last year, regulators approved a rate hike for about an extra $9 a month to your electric bill. These dollars go toward financing the steep $7.4 billion price tag.
Also tonight, Georgia Supreme Court just denied a motion for 2 new trials for 2 local killers. Last month, Raquavius Tarver was convicted of killing Roosevelt DeMons in 2016 at a car wash in Thompson. Tarver is serving life with the possibility of parole for murder. Leslie Harris pled guilty to the 2017 murder of Michael Anthony. That was at the Ramada Inn on Gordon Highway. She wanted to take back that guilty plea because she says her mental health issues stopped her from entering a knowing and voluntary plea in that case back then. Harris is serving 2 life sentences plus 5 years for murder.
Today, an Edgefield County man was sentenced to prison for 22 years. 57-year-old Eric Knowles pled guilty to several charges, including criminal sexual conduct with a minor, following a lengthy investigation. Under South Carolina law, all of his crimes are classified as no parole offenses.
Charges are dropped against pro golfer and current Masters champ Scottie Scheffler just 12 days after he was arrested outside the Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky for felony assault of a police officer. Prosecutors agreed to drop all the charges against him. Last week in court, prosecutors were arguing that Scheffler should be treated like any other defendant, but that was in light of the police video released of the arrest last week. Police say Scheffler dragged a detective with his PGA-assigned vehicle while he was directing traffic, that detective was, from a fatal accident nearby. The only issue is that officer did not turn on his body cam, and the only video of the incident did not show any dragging.
Here at home, Aiken seniors are walking the stage towards their next step in life. Aiken County Public School District completer ceremony started at 5 o'clock. Then Ridge Spring Monetta High students will have their ceremony at 7. Both of them taking place at the USCA Convocation Center. So if you're driving in that area, just be mindful of some extra traffic on the roads.
New tonight, the Family Y of Greater Augusta says they'll give out free meals to children all summer long. This is through the Summer Food Service Program in partnership with Bright from the Start. And the YMCA membership is not required to receive those meals. Meal distribution will happen at various Y locations at partner sites all across Burke, Columbia, McDuffie, Jefferson, and Richmond counties in Georgia, Aiken and Barnwell counties in South Carolina. We'll have those details for you and the times on the website, wrdw.com.
Happening now, the Richmond County School Board is holding a second public meeting on the district's budget. 60% will come from the state, totaling $215 million. $54 million will go towards capital projects for building and maintaining schools. It also includes a consultant to find ways to maximize the funding, including shutting down A. Bryant Mary Elementary and Spirit Creek Middle School. The school board votes on it June 18th.
Well, thank you guys for all those important updates. We're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, finishing off the work week heading into next week. We'll talk about your forecast in detail next.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team. Introducing...
Still ahead, the Help Not Harm Act is now in effect in South Carolina. The controversy on the ban on minors from undergoing gender transition procedures is drawing attention. We break down the bill next.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Cars are
Convoy and Associates today.
A ban on minors undergoing gender transition procedures now in effect across South Carolina. The controversial law also has some implications for transgender adults and for some educators.
State House reporter Mary Green has the details from Spartanburg, where the governor and lawmakers marked the new legislation today.
Governor Henry McMaster made a trip Wednesday to the most conservative region of South Carolina, here in the upstate, to celebrate a new law that's similar to legislation that's been enacted in around 24 other red states. The governor, Republican lawmakers, and conservative groups marked the enactment of what's formally called the Help Not Harm Act on Wednesday at First Baptist North Spartanburg. The new law bans minors in South Carolina from undergoing gender transition procedures, including hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and surgeries, the latter of which doctors testified weren't being performed on minors in South Carolina before this. It also prohibits state dollars from directly or indirectly going toward these procedures and bans Medicaid from covering them for anyone, minors and adults. The law now requires certain school staff notify parents about information concerning their child's gender identity, like if they ask to use a pronoun or a title that doesn't align with their sex.
And I know there's some folks standing out here outside the walls of this building today that don't particularly care for what we did. But it's past time that we protect our children.
But opponents of the legislation say the so-called Help Not Harm Act will have the opposite effect on an already marginalized group of South Carolinians and their families.
Some have said we might have to consider moving out of state. Others have considered how they can accommodate still living in South Carolina because they might not be economically able to do so while seeking treatment elsewhere.
The ACLU of South Carolina says it's weighing all its options right now, including potential legal challenges to this new law.
Right, last month, a federal court struck down bans in other states on Medicaid money covering gender transition procedures, similar to what's now in effect in South Carolina. That case is expected to make it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
A local business winning a grant from the South Carolina Department of Agriculture, Yon Family Farms in Saluda County, sells pecans and pecan products, while also supporting other local farms by selling local goods. They're getting a slice of a $200,000 pie that's being divided between 11 other small businesses across the state. In addition to the funding, the awardees get access to a network of business advisors and professional assistants with other state and federal grant applications. The Yon family says they will use this money to get a new freezer and improve inventory management.
It is a day for senior citizens over at the Peabody Apartments, thanks to the Augusta Housing Authority. Seniors living in public housing gathering for Senior and Fitness Wellness Day. Local representatives from Golden Harvest Food Bank, the AARP, the Health Department, and more were all there, providing all kinds of resources to better the lives of our local seniors.
I want them to walk away knowing that we love them, that we care for them, and that we are investing in fulfilling their latter days by providing excellent quality service and affording them the resources and opportunities to make that a reality.
And they hope to hold this event again and offer various activities for seniors living in the Augusta Housing Authority properties throughout the year.
On your sideline.
The next man up mentality is something talked a lot about in sports, especially when teams are trying to overcome adversity. However, filling the void left behind by one of the best players in the league is easier said than done. When the heartbreaking news came down about reigning National League MVP Ronald Acuna Jr. being ruled out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, the future outlook for the Braves this season changed a little bit. Atlanta still has the talent to make a deep playoff run, but keeping up with the Dodgers and the Phillies is going to be more challenging without their star outfielder. Acuna is also up for a massive new contract soon, so this injury could mean a lot more for his future with the Braves than just missing the rest of this year. Luckily for the Braves, while they're losing their MVP, two All-Stars are jumping back into their lineup. Third baseman Austin Riley and catcher Sean Murphy are both back in the show after missing a significant amount of time this season
season due to injury. 52 games in, the Braves are currently 5 games back of the Phillies in second place in the NL East and have the third best record in the National League, playing the Nationals tonight. The Green Jackets are on the road tonight as well, and game 2 of their series against the Fayetteville Woodpeckers is tonight on the road. The Jackets are trying to get back on track and snap that 5-game losing streak. I'll have that score for you tonight at 11.
We are seeing some clouds rolling in right now, but should finish off the night on the mostly clear side. It'll be cooler tomorrow morning as well. We'll look at that coming up next.
Your safety comes.
Save your roof, save your money.
Don't you hate it when you leave your car in the hot parking lot and it turns into a sauna? Good luck getting that ice cream home in one piece. The average in-car temperature is 43 degrees higher than outside, which means on some days it can reach up to 138 degrees inside your car. That's why you need the First Alert Weather Auto Sunshade, sponsored by Plunkett Heating and Air. Pop it up on your windshield and keep your car cool all year long.
Enter to win your First Alert Weather Auto Sunshade at Wrdw.com. Tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 to see if you're a winner.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, more than 70% of U.S. nursing homes are now run by for-profit companies, and mounting evidence suggests patients are paying the price. In our CBS News investigation, we examined one for-profit chain where some patients were allegedly neglected. That and more headlines tonight here on the CBS Evening News.
Well, we are noticing some clouds rolling in to finish off our evening. So here's a live look outside of our studios. Definitely seeing a little more cloud cover out there for today, but it's still on the warmer side with temperatures in the 80s starting to fall, though, as that sun continues to lower in the sky. So those clouds could have an impact on seeing this tonight if they don't get out of the way by 9. There is a chance, though, things could clear out before then. So we are looking at the max height for this passage of the International Space Station for tonight, only at 29. So you definitely want to get to an area that has a good view of the horizon. It starts at 9:04, finishes off at 9:10. Entering from the northwest and departing towards the east. And we'll have more passages tomorrow night and then again on Saturday night as well. So some other opportunities coming in to finish off, or Friday night I should say, to see the International Space Station again. But it'll be a cool start tomorrow morning. We're looking at upper 50s, not only for tomorrow morning, but again for your Friday and Saturday morning as well. We'll see the upper 80s back by the beginning of next week.
And that's all our time for now. We're live again at the top of the hour over on 26 News.
And then join us back at 11.
At the CBS Evening News, we focus on solutions, finding solutions to help people understand what are the right choices to make for you and your family.